Hey, what's up YouTube? Goratha here. Today I want to talk about my new bow character. So I've restarted in SSF Softcore. My SSF Hardcore character made to maps, and I just felt like I didn't want to play Hardcore anymore. Hardcore is buggy, and you're kind of incentivized to play the same strong builds with like the same kind of defensive mechanics. Overall, I feel like from a content perspective, like making build guides and making interesting builds, softcore SSF is kind of the sweet spot for me. I wasn't really enjoying Trade League. Trade League is honestly getting out of control. There's like some crazy bugs going on, and people are like crashing instances and like duping items and like doing like multiple temporalis runs. There's like a crazy stuff going on in Trade League. I kind of just want to avoid that altogether. And yeah, let's get into the build. So I am playing a monk, specifically a Acolyte of Chayula monk. Now, the main reason for the Acolyte of Chayula is I really wanted to make this work, and I felt like people were crash talking it, and I thought I should give it a try myself, because I actually think it's not that bad. The skill of choice is a poison arrow ability. We're using gas arrow and vine arrow. Now, normally gas arrow is used to explode with like an ignite ability. GG is looking at this, and they're probably gonna nerf the explode part of it. So we are actually going for poison, and we're not exploding the gas. Let me go into end game here so you guys can see what I'm talking about exactly with the gem. So gas arrow is very interesting actually. It has 3 different tags on it. It has the arrow tag, the cloud tag, and then the explosion tag. We're not interacting with the explosion tag at all. They all have different damage effectiveness numbers. So, for example, the arrow has 250, the explosion has 312, and the poison cloud has 343. The cloud actually has the highest damage effectiveness, and it's the most interesting. It scales in the weirdest way. It counts as hitting, but it doesn't actually hit, and it always poisons. This gains a bunch of AoE as well. It's like really good for clear speed, especially with Paladin Plague, which spreads your biggest poison. This is like very, very good for clear speed. You can see like the entire area is like filled with poison. This will kill everything. This instantly kills everything, basically. This entire area is gonna die, basically. Very strong scaling ability. It scales really well with gem levels. It scales really well with damage. Now, I did a lot of testing, and the main reason why I'm playing Acolyte of Chayula with this build is because of my testing. So, we are using reality rending, which actually applies to the poison cloud. So I believe it snapshots every cloud has a snapshot. If you hit the like 100% damage gain, you'll snapshot that, the entire poison. And yeah, he's got a lot of extra damage to chaos. We're shooting out a bunch of arrows. Right now I have 2 additional on my weapon, and I have scatter shot. So I'm shooting out 5 arrows every time I attack. This is already more. I only have like 4 poisons. This is already more poisons than I have. But I'll take the 4 strongest poisons, and I'll take the snapshotted poison, basically. So that's like the cool interaction I'm using with the gas arrow. One thing to consider, though, is the poison cloud can't crit. So you can't scale it through crit, which is what a lot of people normally do. You have to scale it through projectile damage, poison magnitude, poison duration, additional poisons, attack damage, attack speed for more clouds. There's a lot of ways to scale it. You can't scale crit. Now, you could actually go crit with Plague Finger and scale the explosion with the elemental damage poison gloves. But to be honest with you, I'm not too interested in that. I think the poison cloud is more interesting, and I want to try this out this way. Past that, we are using a couple other abilities. Vine Arrow is used for rage. You can get a bunch of rage with this. If you stand in it, you can always have 30 rage if you wanted to. Like, you can move around and pass this and keep your rage up as much as you want, basically. This does require you to keep casting it, though. If you like run away from it, it'll start falling off. Rage gives you 1% more damage per rage. It scales the poison. Very strong. The way Vine Arrow works is it has an impact, which can poison itself. Like it's your arrow attack, basically. Now, the vines are actually very interesting for this character. They take the strongest poison and deal extra chaos damage, depending on the poison. So, poisons the plant, causing it to deal additional chaos damage equal to the poison damage per second. So the really cool thing about this is we stack our Plague Nova up really, really, really fast. Plague Nova is a Plague Bearer. It's a 30 Spirit Reservation gem. It's a really big hit. So you stack your poison up really fast. You get like a really large hit. This can poison, or not only can it poison, it always poisons when you use it. So you can basically stack your poison up on a single target. Use your Wither. Use your Curse. pop your Vine Arrow, and then blow up the Plague Nova. And the Plague Nova will do a huge poison, and the Vine Arrow will eat that huge poison and do like an insane amount of damage. So the whole Vine Arrow, Plague Bearer combination is pretty insane. I have Barrage in my current setup. Just because I have an extra gem slot, I wouldn't really recommend Barrage. It doesn't seem like it does that much. It's an extra button you can press, I guess. Wither on Eye of Winter is how we're getting Wither. If you don't have enough int, this does require a lot of int. You can use Rain of Arrows instead. I used Rain of Arrows early on before I got to maps and before I got a lot of int. Yeah, I just have a lot of achievements on my gear now, so I'm able to run Eye of Winter. It's just a little better at applying Wither, basically. My other reservation gems are Ghost Dance, Wind Dancer, Herald of Plague, and Grim Feast. Now, I have a really good Spirit Amulet. That's why I have so many reservations here. But if you don't have this amulet, you can actually switch on and off Grim Feast and Ghost Dance, depending on what you're doing. Like if you're mapping, turn on Grim Feast. Bossing, turn on Ghost Dance. Ghost Dance is better on bosses because you don't really overflow. And Grim Feast is better on maps because you overflow. Pretty simple. Before that, the 3 biggest reservations in order are Wind Dancer from your first reservation. Then you take Herald of Plague and Plague Bearer. Plague Bearer might be more important than Herald of Plague. Before you get Herald of Plague, you can use Bursting Plague. This is not really required after you get Herald of Plague, but this helps your clear speed a bit. You throw it on Gas Arrow instead of like Deadly Poison. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would do with the gem link. Now, we do have a lot of extra Spirit as a Acolyte of Chayula. This is one thing a lot of people probably don't realize. Into the Breach has no reservation cost. So what this means is you can link it to every single reservation buff in the game. For example, Vitality, Precision, Herbalism, Cannibalism, eventually Clarity whenever you hit level 90, or Clarity even before then if you have mana issues. These are all free. They cost no Spirit. Because Into the Breach has no Spirit reservation costs because of the way Darkness works, I believe. If you had Embrace the Darkness, it would remove all your Spirit, and then you wouldn't be able to use Into the Breach, which is not allowed because you're always on. So I think that's the way it's working, and I think they just give you free Spirit supports. I don't think it's a bug, but maybe. Anyways, you get a lot of extra support gems for just being a Chayula monk, basically. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the gear. Nothing too crazy. Snake Bites for additional poison are really good. You're looking for a big Fizz Bow with attack speed, additional arrow, additional projectiles. Quiver is going to be additional projectiles, damage with bow, projectile speed. Projectile speed eventually will scale with better fletching. Just give you damage based on projectile speed. Pretty good. I don't even have it yet, but something to keep in mind. Rest gear, nothing too crazy. Spirit on Amulet is pretty good. You're looking for a big ES helmet. I actually have one. I'm just not using it because I have rarity on it. Big ES helmet. Big ES evasion chest. Currently using a big evasion chest instead of evasion ES, but evasion ES is better. Get that pull up, get the scale and Grim Feast going. That'll be way tankier. Yeah, nothing too crazy with the gear. I am thinking like super endgame. It could be interesting to use the Hoa even for this build, because the way the damage scaling works with the reality rending and Into the Breach, you'd actually get a lot of damage from Hoa just from the damage with hits as extra chaos. You get a lot of extra chaos damage basically. 100% of your damage with extra chaos. If you're using Hoa and you have like, I don't know, 10,000 lane damage or whatever it is, you'd get 10,000 chaos damage. So that would be pretty insane. And that would scale the Poison Cloud. So that would be pretty interesting. I don't really like the idea of always playing Hoa on every single character, but it would actually scale pretty well with this character. Keep in mind, this also means any flat damage you have in a gear, like fire damage, actually does scale the character's poison damage because of reality rending and the Into the Breach. Speaking of Into the Breach, the purple flames, I do go to my way sometimes to grab them, but it's not really required. You get pretty good duration on them, and you're always moving around on this build anyways. Kind of really mobile character that's just shooting and running, so pretty easy to get like a bunch of Chayula stacks. And these scale damage quite high actually. You can see like the damage numbers with Chayula. It's like doubling my damage right now or something stupid. Yeah, it's underrated honestly, and pretty happy with how Acolyte of Chayula has always been going. Pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with the gear and the skill gems. The tree is very straightforward. Early on, you're looking for attack damage, Flying Strike, Killer Instinct. Chayula monk has a really good starting tree. You get so much skill speed at the start, you attack so fast. You can play generic grow abilities if you want early on. I use Poison Burst, which is a level 1 gem. It's very similar to Gas Arrow. You could level his lightning arrow on if you wanted. You could do whatever you wanted, honestly. It's a very solid start with a lot of versatility. Except playing Mist, a lot of move speed, and then later on, I believe you should grab Building Toxins as Escalating Toxins as your first poison nodes. Once you start going into poison, these are going to be really huge, and then grab Bleaching Toxins. After that, you're going to path down to the Quiver nodes, if you have a good Quiver. Otherwise, Crippling Toxins and Stacking Toxins for your additional poison. And then more duration from lasting. Past that, nothing too crazy. Looking for move speed on the tree, evasion, move speed, evasion, spell speed, move speed. And then fletching is going to be really strong for the projectile damage speed thing. I am thinking about taking Wither away maybe at some point. Wither effect will be really good for bossing. These are a lot of points though, so I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to take these. If you're higher level than me though, that's an option. Dark Entries is also pretty good because it's going to scale the Plague Bearer, which is a lot of single target, honestly. Like, scaling the gem level up on this is very important. This is where you're getting a lot of damage. Like I said, you can poison the Vine with your Plague Bearer, so that'll be the biggest single target. Pumping your Wither up, using Despair, and blowing up the Plague Bearer. That'll be like your biggest single target burst. Single target's actually been kind of surprising to me. It's been pretty good, and the clear speed's really nice, and we're really tanky. I've died one time in maps, basically. I think I died to some Devourer and a Ritual, like, blew me up. So that was pretty much my only death, and I think I would have lived if I had just had more ES, honestly. More ES on my gear. I'd probably not even died to that. Overall, very solid character so far. Enjoying it quite a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.